We need liminal leadership. And that's a type of leadership which takes, care of this not knowing, of this, how do we define the world which is not there yet? And archetypically, it's not the chiefs, it's the shamans, it's the magicians, it's the artists. It's the one who can picture something which is not there yet. It's those who facilitate the magical time, you could say, during transformations. Most companies I come to, they don't really take care of this process. So the chief has to work really hard, taking care of the day-to-day. We don't have time for all, no, but you have to take time to get to transformations. And it's not clock time, it's magical time. And magical time is announced by rituals. We're emotional beings, also in office spaces, and also in Finland. We are. And we need rituals to help us to understand that we move from one space to another. And we know that from our private lives. You know that you need a graduation day to shift from being a student to an expert and a professional. You need a wedding day to go from being single to being a married person. We need those rituals to go through big transformations, to go from separations, bachelor parties, and then transition and then integrate it to your new life. We need that. It's how we do it. And sometimes in organizations, we tend to forget it. I went to Togo for one of my research projects. I did research around voodoo. Why I did that, I'll leave that for another time. I want to take you on a short 5-minute max journey into my inner world during this research project. And it was an intense project. I was there and I thought I was going to observe. But they had something different from me in mind. My son, you see him on the right, he collected 7 priests to give me 5 ceremonies. And some of them lasted 15 hours to experience his worldview and religion. Usually people take a lifetime to go through those ceremonies, and I had 12 days. It was really intense. And I was sitting there. And I knew that all my anxiety and uncertainty skills were challenged. Spirit of adventure was there. I like to improvise, it's all good, acceptance. But openness was for me a challenge because everything was different from what I was used to. And openness is to try to feel the other without your own opinion continuously running through it. Try that for a day. It's difficult, but that's what we need to get into new spaces, to recollect our minds and to rethink of our stories. I'll show you 30 seconds of what I experienced in those days. Ik geef me over aan het ritme van de nacht. After a couple of hours in the forest, near the magical tree, we went back to the village. And they asked me to sit down on my bum with my feet in front of me, and they gave me a goat. And they said, hold on tight to the goat. I don't know if you ever sat in a position like that, but it's very uncomfortable. And at that time, I didn't know, but it would take an hour. So I was sitting there. I was only wearing a panye, which is a white piece of cloth. And I was feeling the goat to my belly, skin to skin. And I was holding it. And it looked at me and I looked back and the goat said, bah. And I looked it in the eyes and it looked back. And I felt so bad because I knew they were gonna kill the goat. And in principle, I'm not against that. I know that there will be animals sacrificed and I know they will eat the meat It's like the barbecue you have with friends, and I was eating meat, so it's all good. But I start feeling a relationship with this goat. And I was thinking, do I really want some living creature to be killed for my happiness? Because the whole goal of this ceremony was to reconnect me with my birth energy. And then I saw the dove, and if you look in the picture, you can see the priest holding a dove. I didn't feel anything with the dove. I was fine with them killing the dove. And I was shocked by that. I thought, do I have the same with people? Am I okay with others I don't know who suffer? And what do I sacrifice in life? And it kept on going and going, and this was a full hour. And there was music there, and dancing, and people laughing and singing and making noise. And I was with the goat. And at one point I thought, I don't want the goat to be killed for my happiness. So I asked the priest, can we save it? And he just looked at me, he said, really? But then time continued, and it felt like hours. This was not 60 minutes clock time. This was magical time. And I really realized I want to save the goat. So I said to the priest, my spirits are finding it very difficult. So they had a time out. Because once you really, really connect with people, they connect back to you. I said, can we save the goat? So the priests were talking together. And I couldn't understand what they're saying, but I could hear like, what, really? And then they came back to me, they said, well, the thing is, all the spirits are here, from the north to south, the east to west, your ancestors, my ancestors, everyone is here. And we promised them food and drinks, the goat. And I said, we can save the goat, but the question is more like that. It's your ceremony, they said. But it's either the goat or you, and probably us too. I said, okay, then take the goat. And then I said, but can you please kill it gently? Kill it gently. And that was a strange thing. And afterwards I decided, I don't want living creatures to be killed for me anymore. So I stopped eating meat. Because my values changed. I decided not to value. I just didn't want it, truly didn't want it. So I had to change my behaviors. I had to learn to cook different meals. I had to do different shopping. I redesigned, you could say, my world, but I still eat fish. And that's because I'm a human being. We're not so congruent. I'd say that, do we value child labor? I think if we do like a questionnaire, what do you think? Yes or no? I think we all disagree with child labor, don't you think? Yeah? But what are the chances that all of us, including me, are at this moment wearing clothes made by children? We disagree with that, we don't value it, but we don't act on it, and that is because we're human beings. If we need to align with what we think is valuable, we truly need to change our behaviors and redesign. We need to see it. And it will shift our power balances. To me, I realized being in Togo, being in a ritual like this, it created the space to really rethink my normal and to really decide something else. And it was such a deep experience that afterwards, I couldn't say, it's okay. I'll eat a sausage. To me, that was what happened. And you see that we need rituals to go through deep transformations. Also in organizations. You cannot just say, let's have different corporate values, put communication on it, change the website, and roll it out over the people. It doesn't work like that. We need to have true conversations. Because cultural transformation is new collective patterns of thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors. And we can do that because people shape cultures, cultures shape people through interaction and decision-making, through transformational interactions. And then we need to translate it into bullet points to make it work. Because it's also a redesign of our world in the bricks, bytes, and power structures. Because if we value different stuff, we value different behaviors. And the ones who are good with the old behaviors might not become the leaders of tomorrow. if I just take this simple example of we value hybrid working after Corona, then it needs hybrid working skills. Well, leaders, you either learn them or you move.